Oh, there you go.
No, that's just recording Zoom.
If that one doesn't work, it's fine.
Okay, yeah, because it just keeps turning off, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you never know if you need it.
Yes, let's start over.
Okay, Councilmember Amesbury.
Here,
Councilmember Huff.
I make a motion to excuse Bryson.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So excused. Continue.
Councilmember Ross.
Here.
Councilmember Dahl.
Here.
Councilmember Iverson.
All right. Any agenda modifications or acceptance?
I make a move, we accept the agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. No presentations. Public comment. So we're still in the middle of changing everything in the interim. Public comment will only be on the agenda items. If you have any comments about the agenda items tonight, please feel free, if you have signed in. Anybody have public comment? All righty.
I got a question. This is fireworks ordinance, is that something they're gonna be talking about tonight or on the agenda?
Yes.
Or is that, now that'll take, if we come up with something, that'll take 1 year for that to follow through then with?
Yeah, we'll go back into it more when we
Okay.
get to that one, but yes, it does.
Yeah.
I didn't sign in. Is there a place? I'm sorry, I haven't been in
There's a
person.
sheet back here.
Okay, thank you.
Are you making comment?
No,
Okay, no, it's-
Oh, you don't have to sign it.
Yeah.
You can comment, Shelley.
thank you.
no problem. All right, consent agenda. Do we have a motion for consent agenda or any questions thereof?
What did we just do? The agenda? Now we're doing.
Consent agenda.
Go for it.
Yes.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I have a question, Chris. Last time I couldn't get through Zoom or virtual. Can you explain what happened with the no public speaking?
Can I go over that in the updates?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll cover that.
all right.
Here, I'm gonna make a note.
I'll second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right. Oh, updates is next. Okay, so because of all the contention going on in town, the council has decided that we are going to modify temporarily. We're going to just change the public comments. So the public comment section in here, and I should have annotated it, that's my fault, so I'll correct that on the next agenda. So it'll specifically say it's only covering the agenda items for that night. We're eliminating for now all the other comments. If you do want to make comments, so we're not forbidding those, but we ask that you submit those in writing and we will add those to the agenda packet so they'll be covered. So that way, if you do have questions, we will make sure we answer them. Otherwise, or if you're just making public comment in general, whatever you want to discuss.
Was there a vote on that between the four of them?
No,
Five of them?
we're still kind of, I think I haven't really gotten another response. I pooled everybody's responses together and then I
Okay.
sent that back out and I got one who had additional questions. So we're kind of mostly there.
I'm waiting to see who did what.
It may take a little bit, yeah,
Will it be reported to us who voted no for these no public comments and who voted yes for the public
but there's
comments?
no voting yet.
I mean, when they do decide that, we will know who did what then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And then where do we submit them if we did have a comment to make?
Right now, just email them to me.
Is your email on the city account
Yes,
page?
All of
Yeah.
our.
Thank you.
details are there, so
I-
you can
I
email
do-
any of us.
Thank you.
we do want to, was it your suggestion? Somebody made a suggestion where we try to make a separate box, an email box specifically for that. So then the staff can access it, we can pull it together. But we haven't gotten that far yet, so that's something we're trying to work on.
Thank you.
But all of our emails are right on the main page.
Okay, thank you so much.
They're on the main page, me and Karen go into it.
Okay.
I think under mayor and council.
Mayor and council,
Yeah.
thank you.
That, yeah.
Okay, staff reports. Anybody have any questions of staff or staff reports?
Is Chris Cooper on?
Yes,
Okay. I had sent out a question on the public comment topic, and I just didn't know, because we just adopted the resolution for the city council and mayor protocol. In there, we had a sample of what the agenda was going to look like, so I just didn't know if by us changing that, if we needed to do a revision to that policy, or if it was okay to change that up now that we do have it in a policy form.
I would do an amendment to the policy when the changes are confirmed.
Okay,
So that'd be through resolution, right?
Yep, Yes.
Read on handwriting.
So then can we have that as a topic for next month's meeting?
Yeah. All right. Anything else, staff reports?
I'd like to just mention on the food truck, well, the food ordinance that we have in there, that we're still working on that. I sent some questions to Todd earlier, and I think Jenna did as well.
Yeah, so I was told that I would get to it this
Right.
rest of this week, and hopefully we can get that on for next week.
So anybody that is maybe listening in or concerned about it, it didn't fall off the radar. We are still working on it, and hopefully by the next meeting, we'll be able to have a complete ordinance for it.
Okay.
Yes. And on that topic, since we're talking policy, I did get a draft public records policy from the city of, I think it was Sequim. And they did give me back a Word document so that I can
Okay.
edit it and provide it, hopefully for a draft to the policy committee, which would be Joy, and then city staff, and then bring it back to the council as a whole once we get a good draft going. But they had a more recent policy that was out on MRSC, and I liked kind of how they went into depth with some different definitions and up to the current code that is in RCW that we need to update for the language.
Okay.
So hopefully, that's another thing that I have that I just got yesterday. So I'm glad that I got a Word version that I'll get typed up and working for the council, so. And I'll include you, Chris Coker.
I could mention briefly on the Light and Power Muni Code update. Todd, I got your email. I haven't had a chance to read your draft in depth yet. I was out of the country last week for a wedding, so it is on my list to review. I'll probably have some feedback next meeting. Although I'm not really a technical expert on a lot of that stuff, but I'll do my best to go through it and provide something useful.
He's gonna make you one.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All right.
And then the subject with the PIRs, I know it will come up, or if it hasn't, I'll just address it now. We are going to work on that, but with the clerk treasurer just starting last week, we need to get the finance and I mean, not that the PIRs aren't important, but the finance is definitely more important, payroll and all that kind of stuff. So we need to focus on that first, get her integrated, get her in the system. But we will be working on that soon, so. All right, any other updates by anybody?
I had a question about
Yes.
PIRs. So the video is time sensitive. Were we able to at least
Yes, they're
satisfy
archived.
those?
They're archived, just have to figure out how to actually
Okay.
download them, but they're
Okay.
saved.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay,
I can comment on that one. They
What's
can be emailed directly out of the system.
I've seen the tutorial. I just have to figure out how to do it.
I can show you.
Okay, good. Then I will,
It's quite
I will call
really
you.
straightforward to go in the system to get help
Yeah.
from the
and I got a tutorial and everything in there. I just learned what I needed to at least make sure we didn't lose the,
good call.
yes. So, all right. So with the next two proclamations, we were asked if we could provide those. So the first one being Red Cross, because March is Red Cross Month. So I will read through. So in times of crisis, people in McCleary come together to care for one another. This humanitarian spirit is part of the foundation of our community and is exemplified by American Red Cross volunteers and donors. In 1881, Clara Barton founded the American Red Cross, turning her steadfast dedication for helping others into a bold mission of preventing and alleviating people's suffering. Today, more than 140 years later, we honor the kindness and generosity of Red Cross volunteers here in McCleary, who continue to carry out Clara's life-saving legacy. They join the millions of people across the United States who volunteer, give blood, donate financially, or learn vital life-preserving skills through the Red Cross. Through disaster assistance and preparedness, health and safety training, service to armed forces, and biomed in McCleary, the contributions of the local Red Cross volunteers give hope to the most vulnerable in the darkest hours, whether it's providing emergency shelter, food, and comfort for families devastated by local disasters like home fires and recent floods, donating essential blood for accident and burn victims, heart surgery and organ transplant patients, and those receiving treatment for leukemia, cancer, and sickle cell disease, supporting service members and veterans along with their families and caregivers through the unique challenges of military life. helping to save the lives of others with first aid, CPR, and other skills, or delivering international humanitarian aid. Their work to prevent and alleviate human suffering is vital to strengthening our community's resilience. We dedicate this month of March to those who continue to advance the noble legacy of American Red Cross founder Clara Barton, who lived by her words, "You must never think of anything except the need and how to meet it." We ask others to join in this commitment to give back in our community. And therefore, I, Chris Miller, as mayor of the city of McCleary, hereby proclaim March 2022 as Red Cross Month and encourage all citizens of McCleary to reach out and support its humanitarian mission on this 9th day of March. I'll have to change that. So,
I'd make a motion to adopt the proclamation.
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So adopted. So the next one I'll read, but I'll give a quick explanation. I thought Holly was going to be here, but I guess not. So the VFW asked that we can do this. So I-5 is known as part of the what they call the Purple Heart Trail, and there's a lot of cities that make up where they do these proclamations and they kind of be integrated with the Purple Heart Foundation. Grace Harbor doesn't have anybody. And so with the VFW, we made our post, VFW Purple Heart post, the first one in the county. Well, we also want to do the same thing with the city. We're going to encourage the other posts to do the same thing, but we want to make sure we are the first. And so our goal is to turn everybody else also at the same time so we can become a Purple Heart County. So it's a whole process. I mean, it doesn't require us to do anything. It's more for accolades, but there is benefits that can be provided to veterans later on down the road through other organizations. So proclamation 2022-02, the city of McCleary, proud history of supporting our active military and veteran population. On August 7th, 1782, George Washington established the Badge of Military Merit, which is the first medal authorized for enlisted soldiers in the Continental Army to recognize a singularly meritorious action by a soldier. Purple Heart was the first award made available to common soldier and is specifically awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who have been wounded in combat and have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms, being killed in action against a declared enemy of the United States of America. On February 22nd, 1932, the U.S. Army Chief of Staff Douglas MacArthur established the Purple Heart Award in the spirit of the Badge of Military Merit in honor of George Washington's bicentennial birthday, and authorized the award for soldiers of the United States who were wounded or lose their lives in military action. The mission of the Purple Heart, Military Order of the Purple Heart, is to foster the environment of goodwill among combat wounded veterans and their families, promote patriotism, support legislative initiatives, and most importantly, to make sure that we never forget the sacrifices of our military servicemen and women. McCleary has a large population of veterans who are Purple Heart recipients. The U.S. Interstate 5 in Washington, which serves the Puget Sound region, is now memorialized as part of the National Purple Heart Trail. And McCleary is now proudly joins as Purple Heart cities throughout Washington state, becoming a branch to that trail. In 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt expanded the Purple Heart Award to other branches of the United States military by authorizing the Navy Department to award the Purple Heart to personnel wounded or killed in action, beginning with the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. And today, the Purple Heart is authorized for people serving in all branches of the United States military who wounded or lose their lives in military actions. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor, until the day she passed away, Eleanor Roosevelt carried in her wallet a piece of paper for the following written upon it: "Dear Lord, lest I continue my complacent ways, help me remember that somewhere someone died for me today. And if there be war, help me remember to ask, am I worth dying for?" In our own daily walk, we should always remember those serving their families and honor their service and sacrifices in our words, hearts, and actions. McCleary appreciates the sacrifices of all the military veterans, combat veterans, Purple Heart recipients, and their families for the sacrifices they have made in defending our freedoms, and want to express gratitude and honor of them. So now, therefore, I, Chris Miller, as mayor of the city of McCleary, do hereby proclaim the city of McCleary as a Purple Heart city, and encourage all citizens and businesses of McCleary to show their appreciation for sacrifices Purple Heart recipients have made in defending our freedoms, to acknowledge their courage, and show the honor and support they have earned on this 9th day of March, 2022.
Has there ever been like a memorial or anything set up for the veterans, you know, like a plaque or something placed maybe in the park or something for their service over the years? I'm sure there's been a lot of people from McCleary that served in the military.
here? No, not that I'm aware
There's
of.
one in Elma. but-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
just
don't know
wonder if we
that
had
one
anything
here.
like that here.
We need a motion to adopt that one as well.
I'll make a motion to accept the proclamation.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? All right.
Will we, put up something somewhere that shows we're Purple Park City?
Yeah, someone Holly's trying to figure out.
Okay.
She's, yeah, and that's why I was hoping she was gonna show up. She was able to explain. She knows a lot better than I do.
Oh, she has more.
Because so now she's the new district commander with bow passing. So she's trying to get the entire district, which actually goes into Olympia, Lacey, and it's all over. And so she's trying to spread the entire district to be a Purple Heart district.
Okay,
So I know she understands all the details on that.
okay, thank you.
All right, so we have no old businesses, so new business or the ordinance and resolutions, fireworks ordinance 869. So I don't think we had much revisions from January when we first put this out. I don't know if y'all had a chance to read it or if there's any other additional changes.
I had no significant feedback since last time. I think it was just minor.
Okay. Now, keep in
Clarify.
mind, like you mentioned, this takes a whole year. So if
Right.
we adopt now, it's still a whole year before we can take
So
it.
it will not be in effect next year on the 4th of
Right.
July. We have to wait another
Another
year
year.
before it takes
It's
effect.
just because that weather we had so much.
I
this summer,
know.
so
Yeah.
hot.
And now that we've had one summer like that,
I think we're gonna be in
we're
for it
gonna
every
probably
year.
have more, so.
And so it's just nice to have the provision in there.
So
Not that
now-
we use it. I mean, it's
Right.
not, there's a lot of coordination to figure that out if we would ever use that, but, it's just in case, it's good to have that, so.
There was discussion that the state was going to pass legislation that made it so we wouldn't have to wait the full year.
Really?
I have not seen that though.
We discussed that at the last
Yeah.
meeting.
I don't know if it ever went through. Have you
Oh.
seen anything?
Oh, that's
seen
right,
anything.
you're right. They
Yeah.
did, the state was talking about it. But if we go ahead and pass it now and the state approves doing it earlier, then at least we have it in place.
Yeah,
Would we have to pass it again?
no, it already passed, so I think it would just eliminate the 1 year.
Okay,
I think then it would just take effect immediately.
okay.
I mean, that might be a Chris Coker question.
Yeah.
Did you,
No, if the legislature was, and I don't know whether or not that legislation's passed or not yet either. If they were to eliminate that, we wouldn't have to repass the ordinance. We just wouldn't have to wait the year.
If we were to want to adopt something having to do with the memorial for the veterans, like he suggested, is that something that we would need to email to put on the agenda for you guys to discuss? Is that correct?
yes.
Did you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So any further discussion on the ordinance? Entertain a motion to pass the
I would
ordinance?
think I would do that.
I don't have anything. I'll make a motion to pass the ordinance 869.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye, yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait a minute, yeah, we need to do a roll call
We
vote,
need a
don't we?
roll call.
Sorry, roll call vote.
Councilmember Ansberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Ross,
Yes.
Councilmember Dahl,
Yes.
Councilmember Everson.
Yes.
All right. And then, so salary commission, I didn't receive feedback from anybody on this one, so I assumed that it was all good. Where I borrowed the information from, honestly, I don't even remember what city I got. Oh, it was Monroe, Bothell, somewhere up there. So it seemed pretty straightforward. I thought it was pretty simple. Any questions?
This is straight out RCW. The only thing we omitted was a vote of the people, it looked like. The RCW has one of the subsections in the RCW was that there was actually a vote that went up to people.
You can do that. Yeah, there's different ways of going about this.
Yeah.
Do you want to modify that?
Well, I feel like, it's RCW, so it's state law, but I feel like it should be reversed and that I think everything should take effect.
Yeah.
After, like in the next term, I don't know what the terminology is.
Well, that's where
but-
the difference, so if the council voted, right, which I
Mhm.
think they did a while back, right? I think you were part of that.
Yeah, it was.
So then it doesn't take effect until that next term. If you have the salary commission, which is an independent group that makes the decision, they can raise, they can lower, they can keep the same, it's up to them.
Mhm.
They make the recommendation, then if you all adopt from their recommendation, then it takes effect the next budget cycle.
Okay, so anything that was done this year wouldn't take effect until 21.
So
I mean,
if
20,
this,
20.
yeah, so this group would meet like in December. Yeah. So I think like they would meet in July, I think, right? July,
Right,
somewhere.
yeah, it was like
And then they would come to
90
the
days.
recommendation. I think they only have to meet once or twice. They make the recommendation and then budget cycle, then you all approve, we'll just say October, just for sakes. And then January 1st is when that would take effect.
Right,
Okay,
so that there's money in the budget.
okay. So it does need to be budgeted, okay.
And one of the good things that I've seen with this kind of idea is that we are all on staggered terms. So sometimes it's a little weird if, you know, 3 of the members start making a certain amount, and then the other 2 are still at the old amount, or 2 get more and 3 get. It's
One
like,
has
I
to
mean,
wait.
it's not like we're making a bunch of money sitting on
Yeah,
council,
no,
but,
yeah, right.
but it does make it so that then at least everyone's getting it at the same time, which,
My
and we're
concern
not
with-
voting on our own.
Yeah, right. My concern looking at it was just based on the last 6 months with the, I don't know what the,
Inflation.
not inflation, the concern with our budget. And here we are talking about our own salaries.
You
Like,
don't have to vote
That's
on it.
why we have a
Right.
commission.
well, I
It's just a
understand that,
recommendation.
but. yeah.
I just want to take the, I don't want to say, the ability for this group to do it on their own.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
have an independent group
Yes,
make that
absolutely.
decision.
Yes.
But
I'm glad
They
about
could
that.
say, okay, hey, we're gonna bump everybody 2,000 a month. And you can say, no, we're not.
Right, okay,
I
so we
mean,
can push back.
Yeah,
okay.
you don't have to accept that recommendation.
Okay,
But if I remember right, like if they recommended like no change, you can't say, no, we want a raise. You know, you can't argue with them about it.
It's like a one-way street.
Yeah, you either accept or you
Right,
don't.
right,
That
okay.
was the way I understood it, so.
okay.
Take it or leave it.
I just didn't see anywhere that the council could push back. And then it makes sense that it would be the next budget cycle. And I was reading, like I said, RCW, and there was some other language in the RCW about how it would work. And then a deduction wouldn't take place until the next person came into office, but an increase would take place immediately, meaning the next year. So I have concerns with that. So that's my concern. But I mean, it makes sense waiting until the next budget cycle to incorporate that decrease or increase or whatever. So, and yeah, I do agree with the fact that we do need a third party and independent committee to look at that.
Well, the last time we did it, we as a council decided we didn't need a raise and we just gave one to the mayor because the mayor was not giving nearly enough of the hours she put in. But I couldn't vote for myself for a raise.
I wouldn't have done either.
So I much prefer just having somebody else make these decisions.
So it does say that any increase or decrease shall become effective and incorporated into the city budget without further action of the city
Oh,
council or
okay.
the commission.
Sorry, I missed that one. So do you want to modify that or?
Oh, so we
I'd like
don't
to.
vote on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I just don't know though that if we are voting, then we are making a determination on it. So I guess that might be a Chris Coker decision. If we go this route, is it an all, like?
Yeah, folks, this was to take the issues of salary out of the hands of the council. This puts it in the hands of a third party. The way that I read this is it is effective and it's incorporated in, and the council I don't think the council necessarily has the ability to reject it.
That's how I read it.
Okay.
So,
And I just, I mean, this is an ongoing thing. I haven't, I forget what it was in terms of the timing when I think it becomes effective. It's not effective at the incumbents until it comes to their next term. I mean, the language is pretty straightforward.
I thought it became effective the next budget season,
Yeah.
not based on when
I gotta
different
find
people are.
Well, salary decreases commence at the next term.
but increases,
Increases shall be effective regardless of their terms of office. So, Kevin Court,
Yes, regardless of term of office, so it would just take effect the next budget cycle.
that's my concern. I just think that the timing is a little irresponsible to be bringing it up right now.
Is there any check or balance on the commission recommendation? I mean, it's like
no, the whole,
scenario, but if they suggested like 1,000% increase, like we're stuck with it.
Yeah,
It, like the way I read it, as long as it doesn't affect the budget, but I still, I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable with talking about our own salaries while we're still trying to figure out a budget. I mean, don't we still have a spending freeze at the city?
No,
And
I mean, there's a few things we
Folks-
look forward to it, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Section E talks about, it goes into the budget, gets incorporated into the city budget without further action. That does not say we have to wait till the next, we would technically have to do an amendment to the budget if it was mid-budget cycle.
But then that-
so it doesn't even say to wait till the next budget year.
But then if we have to approve the budget, then we effectively do have a say in our
That's true.
salary. 'Cause, you know, the commission recommendation goes into the budget, then if we approve or
Yeah.
disapprove of the budget, then it's
So the
then it's really
next
our
budget
decision.
season, a few months later, yeah.
Don't,
I'm good
I don't
either
think
way.
there's any rush.
I was just trying to bring up a third-party option.
Yeah.
So
I
then,
like having a third party option.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
but if we need to revise some stuff, I'll go with that too.
Okay.
so.
I would like some sort of structure or a cap on an increase.
Yeah. that's
Like a
good
percentage
idea.
of what it can be or
Yeah,
something.
can we incorporate like a percentage
A
cap?
maximum percentage,
or not.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea.
I'd be much more comfortable with that.
I agree.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, like some parameter.
Yes, yeah, because we don't want to just leave it out there.
Just make a suggestion, if you're also modifying, make a reflection on how you want it to impact the budget, and if you get a vote on it in the budget, if you have that word down in exactly clear language that is unambiguous.
Yeah.
Just
So there's no wiggle room.
right, just, that makes it a little bit more clear, if you don't have to ask the question again, you know, under the.
Hey, folks, what I'm hearing is you guys, so we have this salary commission, which we want to put it in the hands of a third party. But then what I'm having it come back out of the hands of the third party when, you know, if you guys, I mean, if you guys retain the right to object to an amendment of the budget and you don't object to this, then you're essentially condoning it, which then defeats what you're trying to do.
Sure.
So you guys need to, I think this is a pretty important policy issue with the city and this is, you know, if we start getting into, okay, well, the salary commission can create this increase and then, well, we won't, well, if you don't reject it, you're accepting it. And the purpose of this ordinance is to take it out of the hands of the council.
He's right.
So if you're gonna pass this ordinance with the idea that you're not gonna take it out of the hands of the council, I wouldn't recommend that because I don't think that's what this is intended to do.
What if we did something like what Max said, where we just put a maximum increase?
Then you're knee deep in the salary, you're knee deep in the, you're back knee deep in the decision to increase the council's.
So we just need really responsible people on that council.
Well, it's limiting the increase.
Yeah, yeah.
Who is the third party?
There would be 3 people that are selected by the mayor and then appointed by the council, so it would be a joint review of people in the community.
It's kind of another
Like the planning
conundrum where
commission people?
we're choosing the people.
Well, yeah.
Something different.
Totally different group.
Something different.
Same
principle.
concept.
Thank you.
But yeah, yes.
No, I think it's good that we can go back and read a little bit more and think about it and
Yeah, take a couple weeks. Let me know what you think. We can go from there.
And maybe, I know IMRC's been about, you know, showing it what other cities have these, so,
Right.
you know, maybe reaching out to a couple of those cities and to see how it's worked in the past, to get some history. Okay, maybe good. At first I thought that was raining, I was like, no, it wasn't raining.
All right, any other questions? All right, and then we're back to updates. Any other final updates anybody have?
I wanted to ask where we are with our planning commission. Have we talked into it yet?
No.
I guess, have you talked into it?
It just got posted on Monday.
Oh, okay.
'Cause-
On Facebook or?
No, on our website.
Okay.
Todd and Josh and I were going back and forth trying to hone down the application. So I got an example, but it was big. That was a lot of questions because I was trying to figure out, where to go.
Right.
And so we were kind of paring that down. So then we got it shortened. And then made some adjustments and how it's posted. And I gave them until April 1st.
Okay.
Probably a bad day to pick, but it was a Friday.
April 1st.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for doing that.
Will that be handled kind of like the Civil Service Commission, where folks that apply will have a chance to introduce themselves at the meeting and council will select who is on the commission?
I haven't decided. I mean, because it's by the code, it says I appoint and you confirm,
Okay,
but I really haven't, I guess it depends on how many we get. I mean, if we don't get 5, then what's the point?
yeah, sure.
Anything else? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Big motion to adjourn? I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so adjourn.
That's it.
That's it.
Yes.